इति अनुपपन्नम कृताकृते पुण्यपापे न तपतः इति च अतः अवगम्यते अस्माद् विज्ञानात् सर्वात्म ब्रह्म विषयात् आत्यंतिकः संसार अभावः इति स्वयमेव आह प्रयोजनम् ब्रह्मविदाप्नोति परम् इति आदौ एव संबंध प्रयोजन ज्ञापनार्थम निर्ज्ञातयोः हि संबंध प्रयोजनयोः विद्या श्रवण ग्रहण धारण अभ्यासार्थम प्रवर्तते। This connection between Shastra and Brahma, Shastra and knowledge, and the connection between the knowledge and the phalam, what I get out of it, should be clear. In absence of that clarity, there is so-called Neo-Vedanta. Self is effulgent light, it reveals by itself. Keep asking, who am I, etc., etc. Meditate and realize that clarity is not there. In other words, clarity about the pramanyam of the Shastra. Vedanto nama Upanishad pramanam, that should be there. And I would say this, we all are blessed that we have Swamiji. He is the only one who talks about it. Most of the Vedantic acharyas, they may be knowing but cannot unfold this clearly. The problem is of self-ignorance, and ignorance can go only by adequate and proper means of knowledge. There is no way that you can get rid of ignorance of anything unless you have proper and adequate means of knowledge. And that means of knowledge is such, what you can know cannot be known by another means of knowledge, anadhigatam. What you can know by eyes can never be known by ears. You may infer is one thing, but not the knowledge. So what Shabda can reveal cannot be revealed by anything else. One thing. And the nature of the knowledge is, it is Vastu Tantram. It is true to the nature of a Vastu. As the Vastu, so the knowledge. And that means knowledge is choiceless and knowledge is immediate. As and when pramana vyapara takes place, that time only knowledge takes place. There is no vyavadhana between pramana vyapara and gaining the knowledge. Even these simple 5 pramanas, eyes, ears, nose, etc., moment the object comes in contact with the eyes, you see it there and then. That's why you are able to drive. Otherwise, in India, you realize after some time that I had seen a truck because it took some time. It is like that joke, this fellow was driving on a motorcycle at night and saw two lights coming. So he said, let me go between the two motorcycles. Went through it, so hospitalized, critical condition, all family and police and were waiting for the statement. This fellow uttered only one sentence and died. Became conscious and then said one sentence. That is my addition, okay. This joke you might have heard earlier. The sentence was, वो बीच में कमबख्त विदाउट लाइट वाला कौन था? Who was there in between without light? He could not recognize it was a truck with it he had head on. Who was the one without light in between two motorcycles? So that can happen. Knowledge is immediate. You have no choice to know and know otherwise. Neither choice are available. You have to know it is as it is, full stop, and there and then. That is why sometimes you pass by certain areas, there is a foul smell coming. You wish that I don't smell it, but it does come. In vernacular languages we say also, I wish I had not heard that statement. Somebody saying something, or happened to see some accident which is so deep impression in your psyche and it haunts you again and again, and you say, I wish I had not seen it. You happen to be at that spot, your eyes were open, you have to see, full stop. You have no choice not to see. That means you have no choice not to know and know immediately. That is the nature of knowledge. Any pramana vyapara, when you operate a given means of knowledge, knowledge will take place there and then, and as the vastu is, as the object of knowledge is, same thing will take place. No choice. That's true for eyes, ears, etc. Similarly, when we say Vedanta is a means of knowledge, it has to take place. Whenever the means of knowledge is operated, when eyes are open, you have to see, and you will see. And ears are there, you will hear. No choice not to hear. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, अन्यथा वा कर्तुम शक्यम. That is possible with reference to action. But gnatum shakyam, na gnatum shakyam, अन्यथा वा gnatum shakyam, not possible. You may know, you may not know, and know it otherwise. Is not possible. You may do, may not do, and do it otherwise. That choice is there. The action, karma has choice, but not the knowledge. So when pramana vyapara takes place, knowledge must take place. Not must, will take place. You are helpless. Therefore we utter some words. I wish I had not seen that accident. I wish I was not there. That you may wish, but having been there, you cannot wish, I wish I had not seen the accident. You have to see and know, no choice. Now, that being a case, when you are studying Vedanta, when there is a teacher, competent teacher operating Shastra, knowledge must take place. You should have no choice in knowing, like you have to know those things. So, then the statement should be otherwise. Some people who don't want to study, this couple, one partner doesn't want to come to satsanga or class, and then she brings him. And he, like that, you saw and you got the knowledge. He comes and listens to Vedanta and understands I am Brahman. And he cannot say, he would have said, I wish I had not gone, I had not known Brahman, which I never wanted to know. they say that. I want to enjoy the life, I don't want to know Brahman. This is our thinking. It doesn't happen. Why? Then the answer is, the secondary means of knowledge is not ready. In other words, adhikaritvam is missing. If a person is adhikari, knowledge will take place. It's exactly like our glasses. You are there, thing to be seen is there, but I need certain adjustment, in absence of which knowledge doesn't take place. Moment the proper numbers are there, that is immediate. The immediacy of knowledge. So they don't understand that. And therefore they say, after studying is intellectual, you have to meditate after study, you have to do anubhava of Atma, experience the self. You don't need to study. Self is self-effulgent. Look within and it will reveal itself. All kinds of confusion. They don't understand this is a pramana. Means what? Shastra is a pratipadaka, revealer. And Atma or Brahman is revealed, pratipatyam. And what is phalam? Then again another confusion. They will become muktaha after death, going to some lokas. They say there are jivan muktas floating in space, and jivan muktas take birth to bless you, and then jivan mukta go back. All kinds of talks people make because they don't understand the connection between knowledge and the phalam. Two connections between the Shastra and Gnanam, and between the Gnanam and phalam. Gnanam eva, knowledge is moksha. There is nothing other moksha. Having gained knowledge, you get moksha. Though it is said so. Having known this, they become muktaha. But knowledge itself is mukti. And that knowledge itself is mukti, that connection, sambandha between gnana and phalam. So gnana itself is samsara nivritti, and gnana itself is moksha prapti. So you can say sadhana sadhya sambandha. Shastra is a sadhanam. In fact, not Shastra but knowledge is a sadhanam, and you can say knowledge is sadhyam. Though we say sadhan sadhya sambandha, but what is sadhanam is sadhya. Knowledge itself is moksha. And the whole parampara, Guru Shishya parampara, is standing on this foundation. We have teaching tradition because teaching, the teacher communicated the vastu and the student became free, and that student communicated to his student, and that's why Guru Shishya parampara is there. there cannot be Guru Shishya Parampara if it is an experiential thing. Because experiences are always subjective. Even if it is an objective experience, interpretations are always subjective. This so-called meditation experience is purely subjective. That meditation is a chamber where you only can go, no others. So it's your subjective experience. And a subjective experience cannot be communicated to another fellow of the same experience. It is not possible. So since this is the case, pratipadya pratipadaka sambandha and gnanad eva moksha, gnana eva moksha. Therefore we have Guru Shishya Parampara. So we have a teaching tradition. Each Guru communicated this vision to his or her student, and they themselves communicated to their student. Therefore we chant this shloka, Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. So when this is not clear, then there is no commitment for Shravanam. There is in general an orientation to do something. Swamiji, you have been listening Vedanta, tell us something practical to realize. As though it is like laboratory science, you have to perform practical. And they look for some practical. And there are people who talk practical Vedanta. I don't know what practical Vedanta. How can practical be different from Vedanta? That is my question. When you say the whole world is adhyaropitam, it cannot be away. Big confusion. And then, not understanding this, they give dosha to Shastra. You know that Gujarati Shastra bhani bhani thayu pandit jnana, like Thotha, some Okha, somebody has said, I studied so many Shastras, it is useless. Shastra is not useless, you are useless. You are not qualified for Shastra. That's all. You cannot blame them. You see, what is Shraddha? Little by the way. Just remember this. Whenever I find or I feel, as per my logic, or I feel that the teacher is not telling proper things, there is something wrong. Shraddha is that Vishwasa, that it cannot be wrong, my thinking is wrong. I become introspective to correct my thinking so that I can see how it is right. That is Shraddha. Readiness, willingness to correct my thinking. Shastra can never be wrong. By believing that, you just don't swallow it. Then it is Andhashraddha. Just swallowed. Shastra says, don't think. There is another Shraddha. People tell this. When you go to Guru, don't think much. Why should I not think? If I have to become non-thinking, why should I go to Guru? Better be with Trump. You can easily become like that. You don't need to go to a Guru. Or our Rahul Gandhi is good enough. Why should I come to America? Rahul is there in India making non-thinking statements. Anyway, in India we have so many. Lalu Prasad Yadav, Kejriwal, so many are there. Anyway, that it must be right. How can I see the validity, truth of the statement? That prayatnam, I do put in efforts to see that it is right. That is Shraddha. Pursuit should be there. Not simply accepting. I should be clear why it is right. But until I understand, I proceed to correct myself. It must be right. Kathametad vijaniyam. How come I see the validity of your statement? That is Shraddha. Our Vedas or Shastras have been revealed by Rishis. And it was revealed to Rishi by Bhagavan himself. That is also one more thing you should know. All these fellows call their Shastras as revelation. Revelation. And we also say, Rishayaha mantra drashtaraha. They saw the mantras, but there is a difference. What is their revelation? Their revelation is set of do's and don'ts, dogmas, set of belief. And some of them, if I use Pujya Swamiji's word, non-verifiable beliefs. That is revelation. What we say revelation is knowledge, subject to verification. And not only for you, it has been verified for generations. Yes, this is what the truth is. So, what we are talking about is knowledge, not simply some faith and some belief and some do's and don'ts. So, these Vedas were revealed by Bhagavan himself to Rishis. Must be true. If I see them wrong, there is a fallacy in my thinking, not in Shastra. That is Shraddha. They must be true, and I work upon myself, my way of thinking, correct it, so that I can see the truth beneath the statements. That's a Shraddha. Anyway, we come back to this. Not understanding the connection between Shastra and the knowledge and the phalam moksha. Different paths are there. They say you have to do that, do that. Actually, Shravana Samaye eva knowledge should take place. If person is ready, adhikari, and if teacher is competent, will take. Now, this is Satyam, but the truth or the reality is little different. Why I am saying the Vidya Vishaya Vastu, thing to be known, is very subtle. And those who study Shastras, most of them are not Uttamadhikaris like Shankaracharyas and others. Adhikaritvam grows. You are in the process of growth. So, at the time of Shravanam itself, knowledge doesn't take place. You may have, it's not a right word, but for a want of better word and my limitations of knowledge, I would say you may have glimpse of Atma. What is glimpse? Sometimes when you listen to class and Swamiji says, we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow, it got over. 1.5 hours, you are so much infused in the Vastu. You could see this. That's what I call glimpse. Clarity is not there. So they say, Swamiji, I understood Atma is Ananda, but then there is why but. If you have understood, should not be but. That is because the preparedness is missing. And that is difficult. Bahunam janmanamante. Many janmas is to get necessary preparedness. Sometimes sincere students of Vedanta become impatient. Swamiji is studying, but It's when will I be able to hold on to Atma, like that they keep saying. I don't want to discourage you, but let's be honest. Let's be factual. Now think of this. Teacher was none other than Lord Krishna. Correct? Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. You can't find better teacher than Krishna. Student was none other than Arjuna, who was a great bhakta. Generally there are so many bhaktas whom we certify that such and such a fellow was a great bhakta, like Mirabai, Narsi Mehta, Tulsidas. But none of them got certificate from Bhagavan himself. Bhagavan never came and told Mira, hey Mira, you are a great bhakta. Hey Tulsidas, you are a great bhakta. But to Arjuna he gives a certificate. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam tadat uttamam. He says, you are a great bhakta. You are my sakha. He enjoyed a unique position. Bhagavan tells you are my friend. In Navada Bhakti there is Sakhya Bhava. But you have Sakhya Bhava, but Krishna doesn't have Sakhi Bhava for you. They try to become gopis, but Krishna doesn't, that Laddu Gopal doesn't come out and say, yeah, you are my gopi. He doesn't say. So he was a bhakta, Sakha and brother-in-law. Most advantageous position. दामाद जिसको कह सकते हैं, he was in that position. Later on in the 16th chapter, Bhagavan says, Arjuna, you have a ruju buddhi, mashucha sampadam devim abhijatosi pandava. Hey Arjuna, you are endowed with daivi sampat. That means you are a sattvic person. That means your antakaranam is pure. That second chapter verse, Nitya Sattvastaha, Bhava, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvandvo, Nitya Sattvastaha. He was a lady. And look at his qualification. Archer of that type. Chitta Ekagrata. How much? As he had all Astra Shastras he knew. He had done so many mantra siddhis. So he was a adhikari in a way, with that heart which is pure, heart which is bhakti, and chitta ekagrata, heart that is sattvikam. In spite of that heart, in spite of that ekagram, it took 17 chapters. Look at Gita. Even while in the very second chapter, Shankaracharya ji writes in Bhashyam, Atra punaruktihi, there is lot of repetition. Kinchit shabdataha, kinchit arthataha api. So many things are repeated in the same words, or something is with reference to meaning. I'll tell you two pairs of shlokas. Na jayate, na mriyate. Correct? Next line, ajo nitya shashvato. What is the difference? Na jayate and ajaha. Same. Na mriyate, na jayate, na ajo nitya. Same. Look at another two verses. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. These are all off-quoted slokas, Father dies, date so-and-so, na jayate. He is never born and never dies. And this, my father died. You only said, you only put advertisement. Father is never born and never dies. And you are crying for father's death. Anyway, that's okay. They say this, Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dahati pavaka. Other words, Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo ashosya. Achedya is nainam chindanti shastrani. Nainam dahati pavaka. Fire cannot burn. In one word it is adahya. Shankaracharya says it is repetition. The whole vastu is revealed in those 20 verses. Verse number 11 to 29, it is over. Even in that 20 verses there is repetition. Why? The vastu is very subtle, very difficult to comprehend. And the same thing is repeated again and again and again till 18th chapter. Sometimes people become impatient. I have only one argument. Arjuna took 17 chapters, and that too original Paramatma. This is not original Paramatma teaching. This happens to be Paramatmananda, but this is local Paramatma. That original Paramatma teaching. And that too to Arjuna, not you. Still 17 chapters, have patience. Vastu is sukshma. Not understanding, they think we have to do something else. That's confusion. Adhikari is there, Guru is there, over. But adhikaritva abhavat, you feel that you have understood, but you are not able to own it up in day-to-day life. Some adjustment have to be done with the eyes. That is why that glasses are called upanetra, additional. So for Shankaracharya ji says here, nirgnatayoho hi. When you know this clearly, what indeed sambandha prayojanayoho. When there is a clarity about what it is understood with the connection between the Shastra and Vidya, and the connection between Vidya and Phalam, moksha, then only there will be pravrutti for Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. In absence of that, absence of clarity, such confusions, meditate and realize, look within, why study Shastra, this is all intellectual, all kinds of confusions. And these are all seeming tarka. If you listen to them, you feel, yes, you are right. But that's not true. Nirgnatayoho hi sambandha prayojanayoho. When you know that clearly, what happens? Then only vidya shravana, grahana, dharana, abhyasartham pravartate. One commits oneself, one pursues to do shravanam, grahanam of the Shastra, understanding, holding on, and repetition of Shastra. Therefore, there is a Vakya that sannyasa, sannyasya shravanam eva kuryat. Do only shravanam. All other things, Guru Seva, etc., are ancillary to prepare you for shravanam. With certain attitude, Shraddha is there. And when you to support the secondary means, all other things are talked about. And that is a famous Vakya. Mandukya meva alam mumukshunam moksha siddhe. Mandukya is enough for moksha. If you can't gain knowledge, can't be free by Mandukya, Ekadasha Upanishatam Patha. There are those 10 Upanishads upon which Bhagavan Bhashyakara has written Bhashya. If that doesn't work, then there is a list. Dvitrimshati, 32 Upanishad. Go ahead. If after 32 also it has not worked, or if I use American word, it has not clicked, Brahman has not clicked. I have not gel with Brahman. Brahman did not gel with me. 108 Upanishad Pada. If after 108 it doesn't work, start again. Nothing else to do. The adhikaritva grows upon you. Another part of adhikaritva is sukshma buddhi also, subtle intellect. Drashyate tvagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshini. It should be sharp and subtle, because vastu is subtle. That comprehensive capacity to see the Shastra. And as that subtleness grows, you gain clarity. And if subtleness is not there, you are a typical Katha audience. Ramayana, Mahabharata Katha. I still remember there is one gentleman in Baroda. He came to Swamiji's lecture thrice, different text. He talks the same thing, what is there to listen? He is very repetitive. He is repetitive, but what happened to you? He doesn't have anything, so no subtlety. As you study, adhikaritvam also grows. Because you become introspective. Your buddhi becomes subtle. And therefore people give compliment. They used to give to Swamiji also. And I also get it. They used to tell, Swamiji, after your America visit, your teaching has improved. And they tell me also, they meet me after 5-10 years, Swamiji, your teaching has changed a lot. You teach better. I am teaching the same thing. But your comprehensive capacities have improved. Your buddhi has become subtle. And therefore few things which you glossed over, which you missed, now you can see. And that is a process of growing. Therefore, every time you enjoy the teaching. Because every time you have grown inch by inch in your subtlety, something new you discover, something new you discover. But nothing new is told. It's the same good old thing, good old wine. I often say this. When the course began, this generation student know Swamiji well. They have heard, or in fact nowadays there are 4th generation students. Swamiji student, attending classes, and they come there. But those days Swamiji used to advertise in Times of India, just newspaper. So quite a few of the batch students, men and women, didn't know what is to come. Some spirituality. As I said, the gullible fellow fortunately ended up in a right shop in Walmart. Spiritual Walmart. That is Punyam. They came, and the first day Swamiji had told this, in the very first lecture. What I am going to tell you today, the same thing I will tell you on the last day. That's okay, because upakrama upasamhara. When you begin, you should conclude. And all during 3 years we will say the same thing every day. Then I always stuck again. Esther, what is he talking? The second sentence was very loaded. But I promise you, each day of your stay here will be more joyous than the previous. you will be more happy than the previous. You know why? As you become more prepared in terms of subtlety, in terms of shuddhi, in terms of shraddha, they all grow because you didn't know the Swamiji. Your understanding grows. In other words, you move closer to Atma, which is Ananda Swarupa. So you feel more happy. Therefore, every class you look forward to have, because buddhi becomes subtler. So, the Shravana, Arjuna had to listen. That good old story of Shvetaketu, he had to listen 9 times. Keep repeating. And classic example is of Indra and Virochana. Dev Raja, the king of gods, Devtas, and king of Asuras went to Brahmaji. This is a story in Upanishad. They went to Brahmaji for this Vidya. And then Brahmaji told something. Virochana thought, I have understood, and went back. Indra contemplated, thought over, and said, no, there is something wrong. Guruji, it seems the teacher has said something improper, but that's not true. That may be improper way of thinking, not what teacher said. So he went back to Brahmaji. Virochana went away saying, that's a charvaka. Dehe pushte aham pushta. Dehe nashte aham nashta. Ityadi. Yavat jivet sukham jivet. Live happily. The traditional word is runam krutva ghrutam pibet. Incur debt and drink ghee. Runam krutva pizzam japtet. That is modern. Runam krutva mobileam purchase it. That is modern, have iPhone and all that. Then Brahmaji asked Indra, Devta, Sattva Pradhan, how much upasana and karma he must have done in terms of antakarana shuddhi and ekagram. Do tapas for 32 years. He did tapas, went again, same thing in different words, again confusion, again went to Brahmaji, again order, do tapas for 32 years. Same thing, the first sentence was told third time in a different words. Again confusion, how can this be Atma? Then said, do tapas for another 32 years. Again came back. Again he was told, same thing. Then Brahmaji said, confusion, do tapas for 5 years. Then at the end of the 5th year, he again came and Brahmaji said, he understood. Okay? So, 32, 32, 32, 96 plus 5, 101. So, if you want to understand Atma, minimum $101. That's how this figure 101 came. No, that's not the point. Keep it lighter. The answer is Indra had to purify himself. Repetition is necessary. Just because I don't understand, you cannot question the pramanyam of the Shastra. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, when that is clear, nirgnatayoho hi sambandha prayojanayoho, when that is clear, vidya shravana grahana avadharana abhyasartham pravartate. Then there will be commitment to shravana ityadi. What for it is? Shravanam is a mukhya sadhanam. Why? Though 3, but they are simultaneous. It is not that I have to do Shravanam, then do mananam, and then do nididhyasanam. Shravanam itself is mananam. Shravanam itself is nididhyasanam. That's what teacher raises Purva Paksha and Siddhanta. Guru raises a question and Guru answers. Guru talks about another schools of thought and negates. That is Shravana, Manana. So, Manana is what? There are doubts. Gruhitasya arthasya. Shravana artha grahanartham. There are 3-4 words, Shravana grahana. Grahana means arthadharanartham. Shabdasya arthadharanartham. What is nididhyasanam? Viparita bhavana nirasartham. They have to do abhyasa. So, Shastra is a pramanam, and that pravrutti for this can take place, Shravana, Manana, Ityadi, only when there is a clarity. What? Rute gnanat na mukti. Without knowledge, there is no mukti. Knowledge is mukti. And knowledge can be gained only from a teacher by listening to Shastra. And having heard it doesn't work, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. That clarity is there. So he quotes, when Bhashyakara said this, he quotes Upanishad, Shruti as a pramana. Look at the last sentence. Page 3. Shravanadi purvakam hi vidya phalam Shrotavyo mantavyo nididhasitavyah ityadi Shrutyantarebhyah. Shankaracharya ji says, Shravanadi purvakam vidya phalam. The fruits of vidya, that means moksha, presupposes Shravanadi. Means only through Shravanadi vidya phala is possible. Vidyayaha phalam or vidya eva phalam. The phalam in the form of knowledge, moksha which is knowledge, gnanam eva mukti, that is possible by what? Shravanadi. Shravanadi means Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasanam. Shravanadi purvakam. Before, so the vidya necessitates Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. How? He says, it is told in other Shruti. This is statements of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, when Yajnavalkya tells to his wife, Atma vare drashtavyaha. You should see the self. One should know the self. How do I know? Shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Again I repeat, I have been telling this. Though we say problem is of self-ignorance, this is a typical ignorance. Not that I do not know myself, but I know myself to be otherwise. Not that I don't know I am Satchidananda, but I know myself as Dukhi, Martyaha, Agnani, and not ordinary Dukhi. I am Mahadukhi. They tell us, Swamiji, you don't know me. I don't want to know also. You better keep your self-wisdom. They all, when they want to cry, this is a typical nowadays Indian psyche. You see this all WhatsApp that you receive, 95% are chest beating. What is happening in India? Muslims are doing this. Christians are doing this, international people are doing this, and Modi is not doing anything. They are so concerned, and sometimes they narrate with so much of concern. એટલે મને કહેવાનું મન થાય કે ભાઈ કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન ગયા તો તને ચાર્જ હોપીને નથી ગયા. When he left for Vaikuntha, he didn't say, come on, you take care of, I am going to Vaikuntha till I come back, I give you charge. But they think, I have to take care, this thing is happening. The same samsari, finding dukkham in everywhere. Playing a victim card. Victim card means I have been victimized by my family. I have been victimized by my prarabdha. God has not been kind to me. And they ask a philosophical question. Is it true, Swamiji, God is very harsh to good people? As he self-certifies, I am a good person. Is it true? God is not kind to good people? And they themselves tell, Bhagavan pariksha leta hai. Bhagavan takes my examination. And always he has a tough paper, not simple FAQs. He himself tells all this. This is all victim card. Aham dukhi. Self-ignorance. Not that I don't know, I know otherwise, and that otherwise knowledge is so strong. Reinforced cement concrete. It is so solid that in spite of Shankaracharya writes in Kathopanishad Bhashyam, look at this fellow, in spite of being told you are Nitya Shuddha Buddha Muktaha, he doesn't listen and says, Amushya Putraha Asmi, Amushya Naptaham Asmi, and Aham Mahadukhi Aham Asmi. He doesn't give up that. Holds on. Therefore, this is necessary. Clarity, Manan, and Nididhyasanam as a abhyas to own up the wisdom. What is the problem? Why Nididhyasanam? There is one more reality. I would say emotive reality. You understand the things clearly because you are gifted with sharp buddhi. Modern education, your background, you had certain subtlety and some punya that you have shraddha on a guru. So you could see the things but could not hold on. That but remains. Buddhi, sukshmata is there, but emotional reality is there. That so-called unconscious, your pattern of responding, they call it pattern. Suddenly you feel anxiety, tension, I can't handle uncertainties, all kinds of problems. They are there. Suddenly anger, all things come out. That reality doesn't let you own up what you know. So this viparita bhavana, these are all habitual things. One has to neutralize. One has to grow out of his or her own thing. You see, vairagya simply doesn't mean no desire to enjoy. That is karma phala vairagya. But karma vairagya is also necessary. People have obsession. I want everything in order. Everything should be clean. Swachhata vagar mana jump na avade. And spends half a day in cleaning the house and setting the things in order. Doesn't understand this is a means, not the end. I have seen women, I tell them come to class, I have to keep the house clean. How do you clean? Every week I clean my terrace also in India. That place full of dust. Terrace will be dirty. But she has an obsession. I have to make it clean. Things should be in order. All emotional problems. I cannot tolerate untruth. I cannot tolerate injustice, and gets into it. That emotional reality doesn't let you own up what you know. Nididhyasana becomes necessary. Certain values, your certain ideas about successful living deprives you from knowledge. So that Nididhyasana is viparita bhavana parityagartha. Atmavare drashtavyaha shrotavyaha mantavyaha nididhyasitavyaha. So the direct means for knowledge is Shravana Mananam, Nididhyasana. But indirect means is Karma Yoga. Because that prepares you for Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Karma, bhakti, etc., all these are to prepare, to gain necessary antakaranam for Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Even having gone to ashram, Guru Seva is also for that same purpose. Learning Vyakaranam is also for the same purpose. Studying grammar. Doing yoga also is for the same purpose. To gain the knowledge, to aid Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Everything is sadhanani for gaining right frame of mind, to understand and to own up. You have to learn Vedas, Veda chanting. We were taught. But that is also for that. But I remember one brahmachari got hooked to chanting. So I have to remember that, and I remember whole Taittiriya Samhita and Swaras, and he enjoyed that. But you don't want to become a temple pandita. You are here for moksha. So that's avantara sadhana, secondary means, is all. Karma yoga or bhakti or whatever you do. Ultimately, what makes you free or what destroys, so-called destroys ahankara is the knowledge. What knowledge? That ahankara is mithya. There is no destruction as such of ahankara. Falsification of ahankara. Ahankara is incidental, not my swarupa. That recognition makes you free from ego. That is moksha. Everything else is supportive. In other words, the fundamental problem is ignorance, exactly like medicine. The problem is that fellow has a tumor, but he has a high blood pressure and high sugar and everything. And blood pressure shoots up. Simply by knowing that tomorrow I have to be operated. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. There is a doctor to operate. But secondary obstacle in terms of pressure will not let him operate, do the surgery. Similarly, secondary obstacle in terms of antakarana, shuddhi, will not allow the words to operate upon you to destroy ignorance. So, vidya phalam is moksha. Vidya is a main sadhana, but secondary sadhanani are also required. And therefore, just concluding, and by the way, if you think so, even Arjuna required so much of repetition, the problem is with us in terms of antakarana ashuddhi. So there should be some puja, japa in our daily life. We are gifted with Shastra, some purva karma punya, that you got exposure to Shastra, got exposure to proper teacher. But knowledge is not taking place, you are not able to own up the vastu. That shows some extra grace is required. So daily sadhana in terms of japa tapa, some penance, some upasana should be the part of life. I see modern Vedantists कि आज जप करना है. It is all useless. They say, I am a sannyasi, I should not do this. As a sannyasi, you can't do japa and puja, but you can watch YouTube and you can answer all WhatsApp all the day and you can be on social media. How can you be? If you are telling this, they suddenly find an excuse in being a sannyasi. We are Vedantic students. We do Nirguna Upasana. What is Nirguna Upasana? I don't know. Though I have studied Vedanta, but I think my study is incomplete because of such a great master's telling. We don't do puja, etc. That is necessary. Some seva is necessary. Our tradition necessitated seva. Indra himself did, staying in Gurukula with Brahmaji. Krishna did this to exemplify us. That's how he met Sudama. Good old story. They befriended each other by doing wood cutting and all that because they had to do Guru Seva. And this modern Vedanta, we don't have to do Guru Seva. There should be some Seva in our life. There should be some puja in our life or some japa, upasana. I know it will not give moksha, but it will certainly prepare you for moksha, which is necessary. Most of us are not uttamadhikaris, we are mandamadhyamadhikaris and carrying lot of baggage of unconscious, past memories and all that. So better have some forms in your life. Anyway, coming back to this bhashya now, this I feel that our students don't do that. So I felt like telling that from a habit. No, Swamiji, we meditate only. I have to ask your wife, are you meditating or meditating? After you become meditated fellow and meditate whole house. Because see, anger, anxiety, stress is very contagious. If one person in the family is anxious, you also feel anxiety. So also relaxation is contagious. If some person is relaxed, others also feel relaxed. So that meditative fellow will make the family meditative. Doesn't work. Anyway, now he starts this Shruti. With this introductory bhashyam, Bhagavad Pada starts bhashya on the mantras. This mantra has been mentioned, they are printed in the book on page 4. Just we'll chant. I will chant once and you have to repeat twice. That is a tradition, okay? Brahma vida apnoti param. Tadeshabhyukta. Satyam gnanam anantam brahma. Yo veda nihitam guhayam parame parame vyoman. Yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman. So oshnute sarvan kamaan saha. Brahmana vipaschiteti. You see these lines, the line below is called Anudatta Swara. Line above is called Udatta. Uchchair Udattaha, Nichair Anudatta. Now listen carefully. When I say this Anudatta, the voice goes down. Look at the Yo Veda, listen that. Yo Vedha Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. You saw that Ra, no, etc. Like that it should go. Listen again. Yo Vedha Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Not in a plain tone. And Udatta also sometimes you go too high. Yo Veda, that also should not go there. It should be only one matra. And it is not raga. That Brahma Vida apnoti param. Not this. Brahma Vida apnoti param. Not param. Param. Like that. Okay. Now this is the mantra. Now Bhashya starts. First sentence is Brahmavid apnoti param. Brahmavid ap brahmeti vakshamana lakshanam bruhattamatvad Brahma tadveti vijanati iti brahmavit apnoti prapnoti param niratishayam tadeva brahma param nahi अन्यस्य विज्ञानात् अन्यस्य प्राप्तिः स्पष्टं च श्रुत्यन्तरम् ब्रह्म प्राप्तिम् एव ब्रह्मविदः दर्शयति सयो हवै तत्परमं ब्रह्मवेद ब्रह्मैव भवति इत्यादि. The sentence is, this is explanation of this sentence. Brahmavid apnoti param. It takes the word Brahmavid. There are two things, Brahma and Vid. What is Brahma? Brahmeti vakshamanam, that which is going to be expounded, that which is going to be told, that Brahman which is going to be revealed or taught. Okay. And why it is Brahman? What is Brahman? Bruhatvat, Bruhattamatvat Brahman. In Sanskrit, as I mentioned, most of the words are derived from the verb. Verbs are always meaningful. It has a meaning. And there are certain, as per the grammar rule, suffixes and prefixes are added. The verb is converted into noun. Okay. So many words we know, nouns, like Rama. The verb is Rama. Rama means to sport, to revel. Ramate sarvasmin radhe iti Rama. One who revels in the heart of everybody. How? Sarvasya chaham hridisannivesha, as Atma. So Rama means one who is Sarvatma, who is the self of all. That is Rama. Reveals. Samsara. There is a verb, srusara, to move. It is Bombaya fellows know. Conductors in best buses always tell, Pude sarka, move further, move further. You know? Sarka, sarka. That's Sanskrit. Maharashtrian is from Sanskrit. Srusara means keeps on moving. Samyak sarati, which is constantly on move. That is samsara. That means constantly changing. Things there are in a state of flux every moment. Whether you recognize or not, it is changing. We think it is the same stone. But ask a geologist, they will tell the age of the mountain. It is changing. The stone changes. They know what kind of change. You may not recognize. So samsara means this whole world. But the world doesn't give this meaning, changing. Samsara gives. Similarly, Rama, Krishna, etc. So Brahma comes from bruha. The verb is bruha. Bruhi vruddhau, that which grows, that which is big. Now, bruha means big. It is an adjective. The adjective qualifies the noun. But otherwise, other way also, noun qualifies adjective. How? How it is? Let us take this big. You can say big mountain. So mountain is qualified by the word big, correct? But the big is also qualified by mountain. What level of bigness? Mountain level of bigness. But if you come here, or if you go to Bali and other places, you see a mosquito, big mosquito. So that bigness is qualified by mosquito. Bigness is not of the size of mountain. And a scientist in the laboratory gets excited. My God, what a big bacteria. Having magnified it 5,000 times. So bigness is qualified. Correct? But when the noun is made from this bigness, that means the big. Unqualified bigness means limitlessly big. Brahman, bruhattamatvad, bruhattam. So as a word is sankochaka. That limits, sankochaka means that which limits. When you say mountain, big, so the bigness is limited to the size of a mountain. you can say, what a big star. Then bigness is limited to the size of the star. Big galaxy is different bigness. So noun doesn't, it's wrong to say, but for a want of word I would say, we say adjective qualifies the noun, but noun limits the adjective, or noun qualifies the adjective. But when the noun is formed from the adjective itself, sankochaka abhava bigness, sankochaka abhava bruhatvam, unqualified bigness, unconditioned bigness, that is limitless. So Brahman word reveals a vastu which is what? Limitless by nature. That brihattamatvat, how big, it is no limit to it. So the word Brahman is a noun derived from the word bruha, and that indicates, noun indicates, it's in a neuter gender, implies unconditioned, unqualified bigness. Okay? Sankochaka abhavat. Generally when you say big, it is comparative. Compared to that, some comparative bigness. But when you say Brahman, it is not comparative but superlative bigness. That means there is nothing bigger than that. Unqualified bigness. And unqualified bigness means limitless. Brahman means that which is limitless. Niritishayam, there is nothing more than that. Atishaya means more. Niratishayam, bruhat. There is nothing bigger than Brahman. Now it says Brahmavit. There is a word. Shankaracharya ji first said, what is Brahman? Brahman is bruhattamatvat Brahman. That which is unqualified big, that which is limitlessly big is Brahman. And Brahmavit, one who knows that unqualified bigness. Okay? One who knows limitlessness. Apnoti param. Apnoti means prapnoti. He gains param. He gains limitlessness. Param means limitless. Param meaning is paricheda shunyam. It has no limitations. There are threefold limitations. All limitations are categorized in three categories. Desha, Kala, Vastu. Either thing is limited in place, it is one place, not other place. Kala, at one time, not other time. Vastu, it is this, not other Vastu. It can be this, but not that. So Param means that which is at all places, which is at all time, and which is in all forms. All the names and forms are its manifestation. That is Anantam. That is called Param. So Brahmavit apnoti, apnoti means prapnoti. The knower of the Brahman gains Param. Param means gains limitlessness. Knowing Brahman, one gains limitlessness. How is it possible? Because Brahman is limitless. And that is you. Knowing something, you don't become that. Correct? Knowing Colorado River, you don't become Colorado. You don't become that valley and all that. Cliff, you don't become. By just knowing something, when can you become that? When that is your Swarupa. Brahman means limitless. knower of limitlessness gains limitless. Doesn't happen. As long as what is limitless is different from me. Like even. All of us know Akasha. You know the space. You know space is limitless. Correct? But by knowing limitless space, you don't become limitless. But here he says, knowing Brahman limitless, he becomes limitless. Possible only when that is already you. You are Brahman. This is Mahavakya. You understand what is Mahavakya? Brahmavid apnoti param. It gives the fullness. You are that Brahman. Knowing the prince, you become the prince. You don't become prince. And especially you don't want to become prince. If it is India's Prince Rahul Gandhi, you don't want to become the one. You know him. But this statement is true for Karna, because he was already the prince. When this Adhiratha Putra, Adhiratha, knows the prince, Karna, he becomes Karna the prince. Because it is his Swarupa. So Brahmavid apnoti param. Why? That Brahman is param. And that is you. And therefore you gain param. That is explains here. We'll see that part tomorrow morning. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Tomorrow in the morning, we're going to have 8:30 class for reminder. And Swamiji, if it is too much, we can shorten that and have a little bit break before we start satsang. But we can adjust that timing. Everybody should be here.
It would be good to have 1 hour class tomorrow.
No, 1.5 hour class will be there.
Okay. I have no
But
choice.
then if you want 1 hour class and a half an hour meditation,
Yeah, that's
that
what
should be fine.
So 8:30 to 10.
10.
And little break.
Yes.
And 10:50.
And then we can start the
Continue.
satsang. So we can have a little bit early lunch like you like to have that by 12 o'clock.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine.
And we tried to go live, but this morning had a mishap, so we are not there. That's why I was just hesitant for people to, get it. We had no audio in the morning. Everything got recorded, but the voice cord came out because somebody was charging. It's just. Oh, and everybody please take cards, write your own questions so we can address all your questions and answers tomorrow. Okay.
One more thing, just hold on for a minute.
Yeah.
Tomorrow there is a function. There is one institute called Hindu University. It started about a decade ago, more than that, when Pujya Swamiji was there. And it's primarily aimed at disseminating Hindu wisdom to youngsters. One of the weak area of Hindu Dharma is we are not there, we don't have presence in academics. In US, universities do teach Hinduism, but it is taught by English people, not Hindu Swami, not Hindu scholar, Pandita. And the best thing, what Dalai Lama did, you can see its fruits today. when he was sent into exile by China, to protect his dharma, he sponsored students to do PhD in Buddhism. So all these universities which teach Buddhism is taught by Buddhist monks. So it is taught as it is, not perverted Buddhism. And some of the professors, Wendy Doniger and whole gang here, has some narrative against us. So rather than teaching Hinduism, they are creating a sense that Hinduism is useless. That narrative is there. And therefore this Buddhist meditation and all is so popular across the world because they entered through academics. So we wanted to start an university, somebody started and 2-3 management change, and finally now there is a good team who is well-meaning and hard-working. And they are offering some courses online and they want to take it to you university level officially. So the students get credit and they can work on it. They have some program tomorrow. Why Hindu University in America? It's 90-minute program. And I'm going to give that keynote speech over there, and I've seen why university. Graduate diploma certificate course, master's degree, doctorate degree, integrated MA doctorate degree, advanced studies, and continuing education division is there. They teach self-discovery, conscious evolution, etc. This flyer is there. It is kept over there. Please take one. And since there will not be a class, you come there. Tomorrow it is, I think, at 6 o'clock. I don't know when it is. 6:30 or 6? I think 6 to 7:30 is the program. And the venue,
I think somewhere in Belvedere, right?
Where our class used to be held, 681.
691,
Yes,
691.
same place.
so
It's in Belvedere.
tomorrow's evening class will be there.